Kristine with What I Wish I Learned in School, and this is a new series called Transition Tips. The idea behind these videos are to share with you some transition tips that hopefully you can integrate and use in the classroom when you're talking to students about transition. The topic for this week is how I start talking to students about transition. Transition is a big word. It comes up a lot in IEPs, but all that transition means is change. And we're talking about the big change, the change from high school to adult life. And federally, we need to start planning for that by age 16. With some states it differs a little bit, but for my home state of California, it's 16. And it's a great leap for our students, whether they're going from high school to college or high school to the U.S. workforce, or also other laws that they have to navigate through. So it's a major topic. And some would say that all of secondary education should be geared towards this transition. So how do we begin talking to students about transition? I found that what I see as the most receptive way to begin talking to students about transition is to start with a career story. And I typically begin with my career story. I just put it out there. And in the coming weeks, I ask paraprofessionals and IAs if they'd be willing to share their career story. I ask other teachers, I ask other professionals in the community who have had interesting jobs or interesting journeys if they could share out as well. And the reason why I do this is because it provides students with that big worldview, that big insight before they start making those more minor decisions or smaller decisions as they're leading into their career journey. So giving them that insight. And then also just showing them straight up, this is not a straight and narrow ride for all of us. There's this popular conception that teachers, they grow up always wanting to be a teacher and they go through school and they get the credential and now I'm a teacher. That's certainly not the case for all of us. I know it wasn't the case for me. You just have to make a decision, and you just have to trust in that decision, that the next decision will be a better decision and the next decision will be a better decision. Otherwise, doing nothing is a decision, right? So I begin with the career story and I talk about who I was in high school, what was my first job, Jamba Juice. Shout out to Jamba Juice. And I talk about how I moved from Jamba Juice and I went to college and then my next job and then my next job and so on and so forth. And it typically lasts for about a half an hour. So there are three reasons, that's a good segue. There are three reasons why I found that this is effective. The first reason is because there's always lessons to be learned from somebody's career journey. There's nuggets of wisdom that I gleaned and students pick up on that, right? And you can potentially save students years of making the same mistakes you did, hopefully, but just by sharing with them some of the mistakes. But there's always something to be learned. The second reason why I think this is very effective is because there are usually clues that help you decide what you want to do for a living. I know that there are certainly clues for myself. I was a restaurant server and special education teachers just kept coming in, and a lot of different coincidences later, here I am. But there were a lot of clues that led up to that. So helping students understand, okay, well, are you good at this? Do you know somebody in this industry? Are there little clues in your own life that you can look to help you decide what you want to do? And then, those clues might change as you get older, but listening to those little intuitive clues is a great starting point as well. The third reason why I talk about career story is because often when we are going through this journey, we have a change in work identity. Whether that is being a student and then choosing to pursue a career that is vastly different from what our parents did or do, or whether that is being a young adult and having a job and then changing into a different job or changing into a different work identity. How do we go through that process? How do we make that decision? Okay, I want to make this change in my career. And then how do we accept that afterward? A common question that we ask a lot as an adult is, what do you do for a living? And we often form our identity comparing ourselves to others. And so that is also a major process that happens when we are talking about our careers, is changing our work identity. So I hope that this tip helps you. The beginning is the most important part, and I hope that this helps you just start even start that conversation with students about transition. Have a great week.